directly under the ship now.
Alright, are we bad or what?
Cortana to Echo 419, requesting reinforcements at our position.
Roger, Cortana. Echo 419 on approach.
Alert! Covenant dropships are inbound.
The cavalry has arrived! Everyone's free! Let's go! Sorry. Hey! This thing is our... Come get some!
hostiles present. Marines! Secure the Gravelin to prepare for boarding.
Cortana to Echo 419. We've reached the gravity lift and are ready for reinforcements.
Copy that, Cortana. Hold tight, gentlemen. Foehammer out.
Once we're inside the ship, I can home in on the captain's command neural interface. They'll probably be in or near the ship's brig, which should narrow our search.
Echo 419 inbound. Clear the drop zone.
Go, go, go!
We're in. I've got a good lock on the Captain's CNI transponder. No Covenant defenses detected.
What? There's no Covenant here. Think maybe nobody's home. Need some for me! Oh, what was that? Contact! Lots of contact! No Covenant. You had to open your mouth.